few months has been 150 calories of whey protein, and I've got to say it is amazing. It has allowed me to just have some veggies throughout the day and have one meal a day and one actual meal of food. The rest is protein and these type of things, and it's quite wonderful. So I feel amazing and I'm loving it. So it's a pleasure to see you. See you is a pleasure. And we will start with our cafe shaho, or kahwa Arabiya, or Turkish coffee. I'm not sure how to say it in Turkish, or Greek coffee. Kalimera pospas, to our lovely Greek friends. And anyone from Punjab, Sat Sri Akal, Oki Kardo. Amazing. Using stevia powder as opposed to sugar. But sometimes I don't mind sugar once in a while. But anywho, lots of things to talk about. I'd love to say a big shout out to the Patreons. That is Scott, Metal Balls, and Alias. Pleasure to see you again. Delicious. So, as always, there's 1,000, 100, and a billion things to talk about. So I talk about none of them. We could get serious, philosophical, talk about agentic AI, moving from chatbots to do bots, oxy-moxy. Pleasure to see you. And we could talk about teaching, calendars, tutorials, game theory analysis. Not that I am in any stretch an expert in any of these. The only thing I can't talk about is my actual research, which is a shame. This is one thing that I didn't realize would be frustrating. It is working out how to set up a bulwark against the old childish need to have a reward for an input immediately after the input. You know that experiment as kids when if someone takes the cupcake and they can't wait for 10 minutes, then they miss out on the second cupcake. I would have taken that cupcake in a second. So my adult life has a lot of energy has gone into learning how to wait for the second cupcake, and it has massive advantages. But it comes with some disadvantages that require some semblance of maturity, which I sometimes can catch a glimpse of which sometimes I can catch a glimpse. But what can you do? So it requires one to not go on YouTube as much, not make as many videos, not make as many pompous videos or other philosophical or analytic or analysis videos, because we work on publishing papers. So a paper I wrote last year in June may be published in the next couple of months, and then I'll be able to talk about it. But having said that, there is actually a preprint which is available on a public website, so that's okay. But basically what we talk about is, in the first paper I did with my supervisor, we actually, we actually together were able to get a unified existence solution for convex and concave regimes for certain types of non-local ordinary differential equations. In the second one, he allowed me to do my own research, and I reduced the bounds in our example by 82%, which was nice, but it took a little while to get it into a journal. The third paper I can't talk about, and the fourth paper I can't talk about, but I'm working on both of those as we speak. But I look forward to talking about them because it's new maths. It's not maths to say, how do you solve this problem? It's, here is a problem that didn't exist before, and here's the solution to the problem that didn't exist before. And not only that, but the subsequent papers are a different way of thinking completely, whole different types of ways to look at geometry that give us answers to questions that people will say, well, what is the point of this? Well, math is sort of the underlying pattern recognition engine of everything. And then the question is, how do you apply it? What if you're working in the point where it's not yet applied? Papers take forever. Very true. So, for look, I've people have asked me what is the point of what you do, and I would say I can give you applications, but in the future we don't know. It's like when they developed in the 17th or 16th century the concept of complex numbers, who knew that they would be used to create the iPhone 300 years later? So we don't know. But at the moment, what one thing I did, an application of that could be the ability to use it with machines created soon that would allow one to detect, maybe individual blood cells moving through, the narrowest sections of the brain, and guide them in a way to make sure that they move in the exact right location. Maybe it will help nanobot technology. We don't know. This is the problem. When you're so far upstream, you don't know where it's going to go. But it's the beauty of working at the edge of what we understand as humans. And that's the part that I just have to go back to. But every day there's a temptation. Now that we've moved from AI bots to do bots, every person can now be the conductor of an orchestra. So, you could manage a team of AI bots now, and I could, make my YouTube videos at 10 times as fast. If I wanted to, I could tutor more students. I could prepare for more lessons in advance, have deeper lessons, have more challenging problems, tailor questions to individual student ability. I could do all of these things, and you just have to decide where to stop, because the orchestra is unlimited with dobots. And even now, I'm not even using dobots yet. I'm only using chatbots to help me streamline. I don't have to type anymore. I can just talk my mathematics, and then if there's a subject that I need to read about in maths, I can get the AI to talk the mathematics to me whilst I'm doing other things, and then I can learn the mathematics at the same time as producing other mathematics. And also it helps organize all of my life schedules. And these aren't even agentic, these are all just running at my command. So I'm just spending 12, 14 hours a day running, getting the news in English and Italian underneath, so I can praticare il mio italiano. And then when I do my mathematics, I get it to put my mathematics in French, so then I can pratiquer mon français and try to do that. And then you update getting the news in those languages, and that's, then you try to teach your classes, solve problems for students, and find better ways to figure out which students need which problem. Anyway, it just goes on and on and on. That was pretty rough French. Yeah, mon français est terrible, malheureusement. Pardon-moi. So yeah, it's not very good, but it's okay. Sta migliorando il mio italiano ogni giorno. My Italian is definitely better, but that's because I spent 2 years reading the Italian newspaper. It was really funny. The first 6 months of reading the Italian paper, I couldn't understand. I was just reading. I was like, oh yeah, what's going on? And then after 6 months, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm noticing now that I don't have to look up certain words. Like the first one that started to come to mind was soprattutto. That was probably in 2021, 2020. I kept hearing soprattutto all the time, which is like above all. It's like a very common word that they were using. So then I started watching the news, and it was so funny. Like by the end of the year, you start to hear, oh yeah, that word, that makes sense, that makes sense. Yeah. And then by the end of the second year, you're like, whatever. Now you just listen to the news, and it is what it is. But l'abilità di parlarli, rimanere ancora difficile per me, perché non sono persone con cui posso parlare. So there's no one for me to speak to in Italian, so I don't speak it. I just have to try to remember what I've heard on the news and repeat it, which is fascinating. Now what I'll do now, I have an hour drive to the uni, so you're basic with French but speak Swedish and Mandarin? No way! 早上好. 我是 Gabo. It was so funny. The lady at university who organizes all of the kitchen and admin, I walked in and said, 早上好. And then she went, 啊, 你好, 老师. And I said, whoa, 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 I don't, all I know is 早上好. She's like, oh, you went to China. I said, oh, China is 很漂亮. And she's like, wow, you speak Chinese? I said, no. She goes, when did you go to China? I said, oh, yes, I went in 2006 for 1 week. She said, oh, 2016. I said, no, 2006. That's when I went to propose to my first fiance. And we're still good friends, but clearly didn't go the way we wanted to go. But that's life. You live and learn. So pleasure to see you all, and to see you is a pleasure. I need to head off. So the hour drive in the car now, I will talk my mathematics out loud on my private chat, and it can talk it back to me so I can hear where all the mistakes are in my mathematics. So by the time I get to uni, I have further developed the work on the next paper, which is amazing. In the past, you would have to sit in your room with 100 papers everywhere with each idea on each different paper. Now I can just talk my ideas back and forward, and then I have all these different private projects, each one with a separate section of my mathematics, which I can then put together, all done with LaTeX coding. It's yeah, it's crazy. It's we live in the future, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a pleasure. It's a force multiplier for those of us who remember having to ride our bicycles to the library to find out whether something was true or not. Oh, I have to go find the book in that section. Nerdy goodness. Oh, yes. What other kind of goodness is there? None. All right. Talk to you. Take life one smack at a time.